Welcome back, Middle Age Grind. Been a week since my last video. We are back from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Had a wonderful time. And a quick tidbit in that video I made by that creek. Well, right after that, my son and I, Riggs is his name, we went fishing and I fell in that creek and my phone got messed up. So I had to wait to get my new phone when I got home over the weekend. And here I am a week later, grinding out videos. And today, I'm going to get right into it here. And what I'm talking about today is, this would be part one of our series on insurance. And this is auto insurance and things you should know that you probably don't or you might not know. And being an insurance agent going on 18 years now, wow, when I say that, I've seen a lot. And I'm still surprised about things that people don't know. And I'm going to share some of those with you today. So first off, I'm going to move this thing around here. I want to show you something. This is an ID card. Of course, I'm a State Farm agent, and I'm going to go over some of the basics with this. And I'm showing you an ID card on my 2014 Toyota Tacoma. And first off, what am I showing you? This is proof of insurance, and it doesn't matter what carrier you're with. It doesn't have to be State Farm, it can be anybody. When you get in an accident with someone and exchange information, this is what you should be giving them, okay? Really, really big deal. I'm going to go over with you in a second here. Declarations pages should not be given to people you're in an accident with, attorneys, claims rep for other companies. That should be limited to your personal use, and in some cases banks want to see them if you have a lien on there. Reason why, and I'm going to go over these coverages, and they're similar in most states. Notice this coverage A right here. That's saying I have liability insurance, right? That does not say what my limits are. And you should never divulge that information. That is personal information between you, your insurance company, and your agent. It should not be given out to anyone you're in an accident with or any attorneys or anything like that. It should only be your information. Some people don't know that. And I've had customers over the years been in accidents with other companies, and they've gotten tricked into giving their deck pages to lawyers, and they found out what their limits are, and they're going to go after it. They got some weasels out there, guys. Just want to kind of protect you all. The next payment there is C, MedPay. MedPay pays for medical payments for you and other passengers in your car, regardless of who's at fault. So I always recommend this one here when you have little kids and a lot of people in your car and bringing them to practice and that kind of stuff. You don't know what kind of medical insurance their parents have and they may have. This pays for you and other passengers in the car. Always a good one. D here is comprehensive, and G is collision with State Farm. Now, that's the only numbers you do see because that's my deductibles, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I don't have a deductible for comprehensive. My windshield gets busted, whatever, turn in that claim, State Farm pays that. Collision, I do have a higher deductible, and that's only if I'm at fault in an accident. Coverage H with us is our, sorry about that there, roadside assistance. Pretty good coverage and pretty inexpensive. Usually it's around 50, 60 cents a month. We pay to tow to the nearest repair facility. And if you lock your keys in your car, reimburse you, does not count against you. It's not surchargeable, anything like that. Pretty good coverage to have. And I'm going to get into this, uninsured motorist coverage. What is uninsured motorist coverage? I find a lot of time people get confused about that one. When they say uninsured motorist coverage, I find half of the people think that's if someone hits you and doesn't have insurance, pays to fix your car. Well, that's going to be under coverage G, which is collision, that particular coverage. If someone does not have insurance, you're not at fault, they hit you, your car is going to be repaired by that collision, and you're subject to your deductible. Uninsured motorist pays per person and per accident, and that's going to cover medical bills. And if you have the full uninsured motorist, pain and suffering and lost wages for you and other passengers in your vehicle. And the only other coverage I don't have, and I'm explaining why, we call it coverage R, which is car rental. That's only if you're in an accident, you're at fault, we'll pay a certain percentage to rent a car for you. I don't have it because right now we have 3 vehicles and 2 drivers, so I figure if we have 1 car out, I have an extra car kind of thing. But that's the main coverages, and I want to go over that with you all on here. And that's just something I find that a lot of people just don't know, and that's a big deal. Like this insurance card here is the only thing you should be giving, like I'm saying, to even the police officer doing the report, the other insured. If any attorney calls you and you have a claim in, you tell them to call your insurance company. You don't deal with them directly. That's another thing we'll get into. That's our job to deal with the claims process once it's turned over to us. Okay. Next big topic, and it's just come into play a little bit, and I never really thought it was a big deal, but it is. Permissive use. What does that mean? That means if you give permission to a licensed driver, a named insured, okay, is the car covered? And with State Farm, how it is with us, anyone you give permission to who's a licensed driver is covered. So, brother wants to borrow your truck to go run to Home Depot, it's covered. Your sister, needs the car to go run around because she flew in and visiting, it's covered. I found out recently in a meeting, and I've had some customers run into this, not all companies that's the case. And some of the big players, I'm not going to name names, I know people watching this channel, you might have several different insurance companies. Check with your insurance company. Is it just listed drivers on your policy, which most cases is just you and your wife? Or is it permissive use like State Farm has anyone you give permission to? I've seen people have kids not listed with another company getting a wreck. No coverage. Sorry, you're on your own. That could cost you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you have to find out what's the case for that. The next big point, I always like to go over this. If you get in an accident, what should you do? And there's checklists on there. And the biggest thing that I've always recommended people, if you get in an accident, get a police report. The reason being is if someone, you just exchange insurance information. Oh, this is my insurance company. And it could be legit, could not. We don't really know. You don't know the people who hit you usually. When you have that police report, it's like the Rosetta Stone of an accident. It's going to say if the coverage was there, which company, and it's going to say what happened. Because what happens a lot of times is if you don't do that, you just exchange information, you might have all the legit policy number, all that kind of stuff. The company, it was in force, it wasn't out of force. The other company is going to try to get in touch with their customer. If they don't answer, guess what? No coverage. It's on your own, okay? That's why you got to get a police report. It says what happened. It says who was at fault. It's cut and dry. You can turn that information into the other insurance company, and it's going to get paid if it's pretty cut and dry there. This is the next topic I want to talk about, and a lot of people know about them, heard about them. A personal liability umbrella policy. What is that, and what does it do? Well, what that does, that's an additional policy that provides blanket protection on top of your existing auto and homeowners, or even boat owners if you have it, liability limits. Okay, typically They start at $1 million and they go up from there. And you say, well, why do I need that or whatever? Look, a lot of, this shows the middle-aged grind. I've shared some stuff, with you guys and trying to build big portfolios, have a nice retirement. If you're in an accident or you're liable, lawyers will come after you. This is a sleep well policy to have, especially if you have some assets. Not only that, and this is right off the State Farm website, the umbrella policy, in addition to the underlying liability limits, has some extra coverages there: defamation of character, libel, and slander. Which I kind of knew that, but when I first started, social media and stuff wasn't a big deal. Now it is. Look, you put something on a review for a restaurant on Google, you go on Facebook and say something, you put yourself out there now. People could come after you. And this policy not only protects against that, but if you get in a big auto wreck, I've seen auto wrecks where someone caused an accident, right? It's not meant to be. And there were 5-6 cars involved and hundreds of thousands of dollars was paid out. Your liability limits is what your insurance company is going to cover up to. So if you're at minimum or some low, I'll use an example, 15, 30, 25, 15,000 per accident, 30 per person, 30,000 per accident, 25,000 of property damage is Louisiana's minimum limits. Guys, that's nothing. Most vehicles riding around are over 25,000. And you're subject to pay anything above that. And I had a manager one time who was an agent, and I've used this strategy to kind of help sell the umbrella policy. And he put it something like this, like, let's say, you cause an accident and we're going to provide you with $1 million of coverage on top of your current liability limits. And we're going to represent you to the bitter end until we get it resolved. And let's just say you can do all that, and all you have to do is write us a check for $1,000. Would you do that? Most people are going to say, yeah, I would. And the technique that he used to try to keep the premiums the same was that collision deductible. Let's say you have a $250. Well, that's if you're at fault in an accident. If you bring that deductible up, say to $1,000, it's going to save you on some premium. The umbrella policy, guys, is usually somewhere around the $400 to $600 annual premium range. Break that down monthly, whatever that is, $40, $50 a month. Sometimes you can make adjustments, minor adjustments in your deductibles if cost is a real big deal, to kind of get that umbrella in place, paying roughly what you're paying now. It's like I say, guys, it's a sleep at night policy that, especially those of you who have assets, you can be in retirement. This is probably targeting most of these people, but it's something you really ought to look at. And the next part of this is just discounts, guys. Just ask about discounts. I know we have the low mileage. I've mentioned that to some viewers out there before. Every company has different types of discounts. The bundling with home and auto is a big one. I know it is for us. It is huge. You save a tremendous amount. And then look, these new telematics systems, a lot of people are not into that. Oh, they're watching where I'm going. And I can tell you from an insurance standpoint, it's less about that and more just trying to get good information to rate policies better and giving the discounts to the people who really not driving a lot kind of thing. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. This will be part one. I know it was a kind of long video, but these are just some of the things that I don't know that most people riding out there with auto insurance know. And I think it's good points. And look, if you have an agent, even if you don't, even if you deal with a direct company, set an appointment, sit down with them and talk with them about this stuff. Like a lot of times, price. We understand that the economy's bad and the grocery store, we're getting killed, but knowing what you have for what you're paying, and look, as an agent, if someone calls and wants to sit down with me and go over stuff, I get excited because I want to share this, what I've known as a professional in this industry, on some of the things that I see and some of the things that I think they should have and looking to have, and to protect them a little better. So back from Tennessee, back home in Louisiana, we left. It was 52 degrees in Gatlinburg. I got home to 98. So wow, talk about a brick wall of heat hitting me in the face. But good to be home. Glad to be back. And I'll see you next time. The Middle Age Grind.